JT the Vibe Podcast coming at you another episode. I appreciate you guys rocking with me for so long. Please like, subscribe, and share. I'm also on YouTube under the Vibe Podcast. I pretty much only post on TikTok and YouTube. I have an Instagram. I don't really use that much. Um, I kind of use that to keep track of like some of the teens from church and some of my church buddies. So if I look this way, I'm looking outside because it's beautiful outside today. My allergies are kicking my butt, so I don't want to be out there in it, but I can admire it from here. So I had a buddy of mine tell me, he's like, "Man, G, you really touched me that day that you talked about mental health at the church. I preached a sermon in July about mental health at First Pentecostal Church to the teens. That was my first time ever speaking from a pastoral standpoint inside of a church with that many people. So I was nervous. I remember Mama Z coming to me. She's like, "Hey, you got something? You got 20 minutes?" I'm like, in my head, I'm like, "Dang, I only got 5 minutes worth of content." So I get up at the podium. I remember the first thing I told him, I said, "Be prepared to talk to each other amongst each other for 15 minutes. I only got 5 minutes. They told me I had to fill 20. I'm gonna try." I felt the 20. I don't know how I did it. Jesus took the wheel that day. But I talked about mental health. I talked about a couple different things, a couple different aspects of mental health. But number one, I talked about um, myself, my personal journey. Um, during that time frame, it was crazy for me to have talked about that in July after kind of April, May, June, part of July, kind of was going through some things. For me to talk about that in July was huge, huge for me. Not only for me, but it's huge for me from a standpoint of getting that off my chest, allowing myself to be vulnerable to the people that pray for me. There's a lot of people in the church that pray for me. I love them; they love me. And so, I talked about how really based it around Elijah when he ran from Jezebel. A lot of people don't know that he wanted to die when he was running. Because so Queen Jezebel, if you don't know about her, read about her. She's crazy, but she sent a message to him because obviously he stands on business for Jesus. She didn't like that, so she sent the message to him saying, "Hey, basically, I'm gonna kill you." So my man ran to the forest, asked Jesus to take his life. He said he's no better than the ancestors, so just take my life. I'm done. I can't do it no more. I'm over this. Crazy to think that a person of God would say that, because you think, oh man, everybody is Jesus of God, just perfect lives. No, we go through the struggle too. Um, I didn't get to the point of wanting to take my life, but I was down in the dumps, right? And I was going through some stuff. I was going through some personal stuff. Going through some decisions that I made personally. I put myself in some bad positions. There were people in my life that shouldn't have been in my life at all. Um, that were causing me a great deal of stress. And what I learned is this, and it's crazy because God has to slam doors sometimes, because if He don't slam the door, we keep the door open, right? Because like you love somebody, or you like somebody, or you got an attachment to somebody, right? And so you have this attachment to somebody, and you won't let them. You just won't let it go. You won't let it go, even though you know what's bad for you. Um, God definitely knows what's bad for you. You just won't let them go. You just can't, right? You're just like struggling. You just can't let them go. And so going through that battle, going through that journey, what I realize is, as for Elijah, Jesus was there the whole time. Even when he's at his worst and he wanted to die, Jesus knew what he needed. So he sent an angel there to nourish him. So he got nourishment twice. He got nourishment twice. Angel taps him on the shoulder and says, "Eat. Get up and eat." So he got up and ate. There was water there. And so Jesus was with him the whole time. So then eventually he gets to a destination. And now the Lord is speaking to him. Like, what you doing here, man? And it's crazy. It said that it was like a whisper. It's a whisper means that somebody has to be right there. Like, this is your ear, and he's whispering into your ear. Jesus was whispering to Elijah, and he came up with a plan. He said, "This is our plan." And Elijah followed the plan. He had to follow the plan. So not only did Jesus walk with him in his depression, not only did he nourish him while he was depressed, but he also gave him a plan to get out of his depression, right? To get out of the mindset and mentality that he was stuck in because of Queen Jezebel. He did that, right? Now, if we go to, I believe it's in Matthew, Peter is on Peter's on a boat, and the boat. Let me use my body. The boat doing this, and the water's just crazy, and it's all craziness going on around. They see a shadow coming, walking on water, coming toward them. They're afraid. They're already afraid because the boat might capsize, but they're afraid. There's so much fear in them because they're like, man, we're gonna die. Peter says, who is that? Who are you? And Jesus replies, it's me. Peter knows his voice. Peter knows his voice. But even Peter didn't fully trust what he just heard, right? So what did Peter do? Peter said, tell me to come to you. If it's you, tell me to come to you. There's a key in that piece right there that people don't understand. Peter couldn't say, can I come to you? Because there's power in the name of Jesus. So when Jesus said, come to me, there's power in that because Jesus is the one who said it, right? If Peter said, I'm going to come to you and start walking on water, he'd probably be sinking right to the bottom. But because Jesus said it to him, right? Because the Lord Jesus said it to him, he was able to walk on water. So Peter gets up out the boat. Mind you, the boat is doing this. Like, this is what the boat doing. This is my imaginary boat. It capsizing essentially. Sorry, I'm getting animated because this verse speaks to me on a level that nothing else has ever spoke to me in the Bible ever before. He gets out the boat and he's walking toward Jesus. Think about this. He's walking on water. People think Jesus is the only person who walked on water. Peter walked on water too. He's walking toward Jesus. He's losing faith because he remembered. Check me out here. He remembered where he came from, right? I just came from a boat that's about to capsize, and I'm walking on water. He's losing faith, not because of what's in front of him, because what's in front of him is Jesus. He didn't lose faith. He's losing faith because of what's behind him, what he just came from. So now he's losing faith, right? He's completely losing faith, and he's walking toward Jesus, right? Had he kept his mind, his heart, and his eyes set on Jesus, he would have never started to sing. But because we're human, right? We're human beings, is our nature. He remembered where he just came from. Jesus has brought him out of something, right? But he can't let go. Have any of you ever experienced that? Jesus brought you out of something, but you can't let go, right? So you're holding back your blessing because you can't release what the Lord has asked you to release in the first place. If it's not from him, it's not of him, then it don't need to be with you. And so he asked you to release what's behind you. Don't worry about what's behind you. Focus on what's in front of you. Because God has determined the steps, right? Those steps have already been determined. So focus on what's in front of you. So now Peter's thinking, my man just start reminiscing on the better times, right? Not better times, but to him better times. I just came from this boat that's about to capsize, and I'm walking on this crazy water, and the water's doing all this and that and the other. So he remembers, right? This is crazy. I'm breaking this down to him. He remembers where he was at. For a moment, he didn't realize where he was at because he was focused on Jesus, right? So he got out of the boat, he walking on water, he cool because he's focused on Jesus. But then he remembered, oh damn, I'm in this water and it's raging waters. So he starts to sink because he remembered where he was at. Not only did he reminisce on the past where he just came from, but he remembered where he was at and lost focus on the path that was set forth in front of him. So now he's sinking. He's getting down in there, he's sinking. Can anybody from the boat help him out? No. Nobody from the boat can help him out. At this point in time, it's life or death for Peter, right? Life or death situation. Jesus is literally saying, in this time of life and death situation, right, that you're in, who are you going to focus on? Who's going to help you? Who are you going to call on, right? Nothing but the name of Jesus. That's who you're going to call on. That's what we call. Jesus, help me. Like, help me. Like, that's all he had to say is help. Jesus knew what he needed. He just had to ask for it. And as soon as he asked for it, what does Jesus do? Reach down and pull him up out the water. Mind you, let me set the scene on this. I'm getting animated here. Let me set the scene on this. And I'm looking outside, but I'm picturing Peter and Jesus in this crazy water in this boat about to capsize. but they're calm. Where Jesus is standing with Peter is calm. It's raging. The waters are raging around them. The boat's about to capsize, right? And that just shows you something else. There's another piece that you can take from this whole thing. Not and people like miracle this and that. This ain't a miracle. This is what's shaking you. Don't always got to be shaking me, right? They shook on the boat, but because Jesus's eyes, or not Peter's eyes, his mind, his soul, his spirit is focused on Jesus. What's going on around him can't shake him. Let me say that again. Because Peter was focused on Jesus, everything going on around him could not shake him. He was in the presence of the living God, and nothing around him could shake him. Let me say that again. I'm going to say that one more time for the people in the back that ain't listening. When he was focused 100% on Jesus, the riffraff, the craziness, the chaos, the war, the destruction, the famine, the death, COVID-19, all that stuff didn't matter because he was focused on the name of Jesus and with the path that Jesus had set forth in front of him. I'm pointing at Peter right now because in my mind, Peter right out here. Take that into consideration, guys. He remembered his past and started to sink. He looked backwards, started to sink. He lost focus on Jesus, started to sink. So now he's sinking because he's thinking too much. My man, if you get to start thinking too much, you get to start sinking. Anybody ever had that happen in life where you're in life and you're just like sinking? Let me wrap this up with the little story on me. Crazy. I preached that sermon to those teens, right? As Jesus was in the process of ripping me out the water. In July, had I known in July what I know now, it would have happened faster. But I didn't, right? I had to go through the growing pains. And the third thing, so not only does Jesus set the path, he nourishes, he's there with you, he gets you to refocus, but what the enemy sent to destroy you, it'll turn into good. He'll turn that into good, right? So what you've gone through, the path of destruction that you were walking on, has now turned into gold because Jesus, right, paved the way. So let me tell you guys something here. When I say he will destroy everything in order for you to get the picture, he literally will, 110%. He will take the life that you have right now because you ain't listening, churn it up like this, and then you'll have to make the right decision because there's no other decision to be made. And then when you make the right decision, guess what happens on the other end of this destruction, right? Glory is on the other end of this destruction. Happened to me. I mean, it's a testimony, and I could speak about this for hours. From May till February, from May of 2024 till February 2025, I was a walking testimony of not listening to Jesus. What he'll do if you don't pay attention. The Lord had turned my life upside down. And the crazy thing about it is, it didn't affect my kids. It didn't affect my family. Like, it affected me. But it also made me a better person. It made me a better man, made me a better partner, made me a better friend, made me a better son, made me a better brother, made me a better father, made me a better mentor to the teens that I mentor to, made me want to mentor to more teens. He turned my life upside down, guys. Like, literally flipped my life on his head. And he put an opportunity in front of me that I would be stupid to say no to. But he knew the path that was coming anyway. He knew what was coming down the road anyway. He knew in May what was going to happen in February. I didn't know. I had zero clue. If I'd have known, like I said, if I'd have known what I know now, I would have just flipped it all over in May and said, let's rock with it. But sometimes we want to hold on to things that we don't need to hold on to, guys. And I think that was the biggest lesson that he taught me. He said, you know what? When it's time to let go, it's time to let go. And it's not that you don't care. I mean, if it's friends, if it's loved ones, whatever it may be, it's not that you don't care. It's not that you don't love them anymore. It's not that you don't that oh they're just nothing to me. It's never that. Like it's you're not a part of God's plan for the future. There are people that I don't even talk to now that I talked to a lot back in my law enforcement days. Since I've turned the chapter over and flipped the script. My friends group, my friend, like there are people that still here. And it's crazy because people that are still here know about my life and what's up. They know. But here's the thing. That ain't for everybody to know. And I understand that. I understand that now. No, like if everybody knows all your moves all the time, it makes it easy for evil to seep in. So God turned my life upside down. He flipped the script on me, something thorough, and he give me 2 minutes, guys, and I'll get you guys out of here. He literally the way that he did it, he showed me who I was becoming, and I did not like who I was becoming. I did not like the man I like. Most people will tell you I'm a good dude. Like I love people. I take care of people. I will bend over backwards for anybody. That's just how I am. I have a great heart. I give without expecting anything in return. Uh, I will definitely, if you have plans or you want to do something different or you want to grow, I will help you grow. What do you need? Like, what do you need from me to help you get where you're trying to go? Like, what can I do to help? Um, it's crazy because I've been around people that I'll help them out, but then their own family will be like, "What are you doing?" I've never been like that. It's always like if you have a dream, you want to open up a business, you want to do this, you want to do that. Like, how can I help you? How can I be of service? Like, what can I do to help you achieve the goal that you want to achieve? And the crazy thing is, I didn't realize that there were people in my corner that were doing that same thing for me. And now we all get to prosper because God will bless those that are around you that have a good heart because He knows your heart. Like, you can't, what you can't do is hide. You can't hide who you are inside here. You can't hide that from God. God already knows who you are. He knows what you're about. If you're out here seeking to gain from people, He knows. He's not dumb. He knows. And so you can't hide your heart from Him. You can deceive people, but you can't deceive Him. And so He really showed me a lot about the people I was around. He showed me a lot about myself, and let me tell you, I had to make some changes. Um, he won't give you. He won't you got to be walking in the path of righteousness for him to set those steps for you, right? I wasn't walking the path of righteousness. I was walking the path of stupidity, and selfishness. I was being selfish, and I will admit that I was being 100% selfish. I became selfless, and it's crazy working at that church with those teens. Huge impact on me, and I'm still planning on doing that. It's still a part of my plan, my future plans as I continue to grow in my new role. Um, but I will tell you this, you know, through all the mental health struggles and everything, there was one consistent the whole time. That was God. It was 100% God. Um, so I read as much as I can. I pray. I pray for my friends. I pray for my enemies. Like there's nobody out there that I hate. Like if you did me wrong, you did me wrong. It is what it is. Like I'm not gonna hold that over you. I forgive you because forgiveness sets us both free, and I hope for the best for everybody. Like I don't want nobody to be beat down or feel worthless or anything like that because I've felt those things before. I've been there. I wouldn't put that up on anybody at all. And so sorry to get off on a tangent. I went a little bit longer than I wanted to go, but I really got into this one. Um, they got 20 minutes, so you guys got 20 minutes as well. But yes, guys, God is there. Pray. So I gave them 5 keys. I gave five. I'm gonna give you a couple real quick before I get there. Pray, right? Fellowship, huge. Fellowship is huge. But the number one thing I want you guys to do, the number one thing I want you guys to do is pause. Hit pause and allow yourself to just look, listen, and feel. and just look at your life so that way you can be thankful for the things that have happened to you. You can be thankful for the things that you've gone through and have a level of gratitude because that's key. If you can't be happy and thankful for what you got, God is not going to give you no more, guys. This is GT the Vibe podcast, though. I appreciate you guys rocking me for this long. I'm sorry I went long winded on this one, but I've been looking outside because I can still see Peter out there asking Jesus to call him off the boat. This is GT the Vibe podcast, so I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one.